Hi everyone. This is the part where I talk to myself for a few moments that I probably should start cutting out of the actual podcast portion because now we're uploading those. So if you haven't heard, we're now taking the Instagram Live file and extracting the audio and uploading it to Anchor. And now we effectively have a podcast. And while it's interesting kind of balancing it out while listening to reviewing that audio and hearing how we refer to a lot of things and make a bunch of funny faces, it still kind of works. So let's see. Let's get Mr. Sean. Sean. There we go. Here. Let's see. So today we're going to be talking about Cars, specifically the movie, not just Cars in general, although some of you probably would like to talk about Cars in general. Gonna hum to myself for a moment. Sean Beeman, how we doing?
Wonderful, sir. How are you today?
Good, doing okay. Little overcast here, but get a little light in. So I was running a little late on watching Cars, which is kind of funny. I was like, oh, okay, how long is this? And in my head, I'm like, Cars is an hour and a half, and I'm like, that movie's 2 hours.
It's almost two. Isn't it over 2 hours?
Like it's like if it's like right at like an hour and 55, and I'm just like, I didn't realize that, and I guess it just shows how well it's written that like I didn't realize it's that long. But yeah.
I'll be honest, this whole week, if you were around me at all this week, I talked about how I was kind of bummed because, like, looking back, I thought this was one of my least favorite Pixar movies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean like it was a bad movie by any means. I just mean, in the scheme of things, this is one of my least favorites. And I was very pleasantly surprised. There was a lot more to enjoy than I thought there was going to be.
Yeah, I think, like, not to jump ahead, but I think Cars 2 might be the one that I'm like least looking forward to because I'm just like, because like at least Cars, I'm like, yeah, it's fun. I remember watching it like it came out in 2006, which is so funny to think that like I remember watching this in high school and I was just like, I don't know what to expect from this, and I just remember there's a lot of funny moments in this movie. There's a lot
It's
of
hilarious. It's a straight comedy bit.
Yeah.
And it's also this is peak Larry the Cable Guy. Mm-hmm. He's at the peak of his powers.
He's reached his full power.
He has, yo.
He's gone Frieza transfer.
He hits like all of his points. He hits the get her dones. He hits the I don't care who you are. That's funny right there. Like he's firing.
Yeah. So let's do. We need to hit this routine. So today, we do have a sponsorship message that isn't in line. We have to do this in line because on Anchor, it's through their whole thing. So this podcast is partially sponsored by Chosen Wan Apparel, which we're wearing the shirt based on the true story. Real comfy shirt, nice and fitted, but not constricting. I still feel like I can, swim some laps in it, or I don't know, something strenuous that would require my shoulders.
I hope you're not swimming laps in your t-shirt because it's a wonderful t-shirt. It deserves much more respect than that. If you want to get one of these t-shirts, it's really easy to get a hold of. Just go on to thechosenwan.com, TheChosenWan.com. Check them out. They're really rad. There's all kinds of other cool gear, too, to check out. I really highly recommend it. And like Marco said, it's all top-notch quality stuff. What I got here is very, very soft and very form-fitting. It makes you look nice and strong, even though I'm not.
I know, I was going to say, it makes my chicken arms look pretty, like, decently, like, fitted. I'm like, oh, this shirt fits. I haven't been working out, but it looks okay. So, thank you, Chosen Wan Apparel, thechosenwan.com. So, today we're talking about 2005's Cars, a movie that was longer than I thought, but also more fun than I remember. So I haven't seen Doc Hollywood, and I know that there's a lot of comparisons into like the big star goes into the small town and learns a few lessons and comes out a better person. So I mean it's a trope, but I think it's done in a different environment. Who hasn't played with toy cars and pretended they were talking to each other?
100%.
I feel like the story meetings for this must have been amazing, but also there's like fun little tidbits. I should send you the video. There's this great making of tidbit on it where they were talking about at the very end where they're like, Radiator Springs is back on the map, and they like agonize over how Lightning McQueen would produce a map. Like,
Hmm.
would he kick it out of his door? Would he unroll it from his trunk? Would he lift his eyeballs? And it would be like, and they get like really ridiculous where it's like he has it like on his antenna, or like there's a part where like he just throws the map down and they look at it and they're like, we can't open it because we're cars. and then and then somebody just goes, why do they have to produce a map and show that it's on a map? You can just say, oh, it's back on the map. And it's just this like, so like whenever I talk about cars or like watch the movie, I try not to like, I
Overthink it.
yeah, because when people start talking about like, wait a second, he's getting his tires replaced. So is that like his shoes, or is that like his leg? Is that like, and I'm like, don't think about it, because when you go to Cars Land and Disneyland at Christmas time, they've got air filters and stuff hanging up as wreaths, and I'm like, well, if you want to get technical, an air filter is a set of lungs. So like, unless they're very, very, very open.
They keep them up for Halloween too. Is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
exactly. The Christmas decorations, the Halloween decoration. So like, I think it's a fun movie to watch and just kind of like just have fun with it and just enjoy like these characters in this space. That's,
You know, people forget that country music by far now dominates American music sales. It's
Mhm.
and it's because most of the country, get this, Marco, is country.
Mhm.
And so this movie, it does incredibly well everywhere else. We're here on the West Coast, where I feel like the music doesn't identify with us nearly as much, even though it takes place in California.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really rad, because like, I'm sure you have. I've driven Route 66 a few times, and just the color, the palettes they choose to animate this whole world that they've created, as well as like just, I don't know, man. The scenery that they have going on near Radiator Springs is
Yeah.
iconic, man. It's cool.
I've never driven through Monument Valley, but I always want to. And this
Hmm.
movie, every time when they show like these sprawling vistas, and just like the scope and scale of the American frontier, or the American national park or
Yeah,
whatever. And I always want to go on one of those trips. And it's just like, this movie has me like itching to get into a car and just drive somewhere, anywhere. It's
they're
like I don't want to be
flexing
stuck
again,
in.
because at this point, so like we start off with toys. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? We got a monster world. We've got we've done underwater, and what I mean, at this point now, they've said that we're gonna just take on just the actual scenery of the world. Like,
Yeah.
they're taking on like seventh wonder of the world level CG. It's beautiful. Like, I
Hmm.
can't
Hmm.
get over how beautiful it is. And they flex from the very beginning, because it starts off opening scene, and we're getting like those cool like shots of Lightning McQueen, and like we're seeing how just like in like the roaring of the music and everything. I had my
Hmm.
surround sound on. I felt it. It felt really cool. I've been to races. My father's a race car driver, and so like I've been to my share. I know how loud it can be at those kinds of events and whatnot. And like it, they do a great job of making you feel like how quickly it goes from zero to whoo in your ear, and you're just
Yeah.
it jolts through you. You know, it's a great feeling, and I love that they're able to produce it. And the color schemes they choose there are so, I don't even know, like almost anime like to me in the very beginning. It reminded me of like Speed Racer. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Just
Where it was
real
just like
punchy, saturated, like,
100%
yeah.
that.
Um, I'm just trying to think of like, there's, I think like sometimes I'm listening to the movie in headphones, sometimes I'm watching it on speakers that are just like audio quality and stuff. And like, I'm catching, every time I watch these movies, I'm catching something different, like a
Hmm.
weird line that I didn't hear before. Like, I didn't hear at one point that a
This
reporter
time was the $35,000 line. I forgot about that. I love that. He just goes, he goes, damn it. Brandon got me right there. I cracked. When Mater says, I don't know when it's a good time to tell you, but you owe me $35,000.
legal fees. What? Drives away.
I love that.
I picture that's how Logan operates. He just puts on Larry the Cable Guy. Pardon me. Why are you talking like that? Weren't you just
I
the
don't care
line
who
that
you are. That's debt right there.
the line that got me that I didn't hear was when Mac arrives in California and they open it and reveal that Lightning's gone. I didn't hear that one of the reporters says, Lightning, are you gonna pose for Car Girl? Like, wait a second.
Yo, no, there's a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And then also, what's the old lady's name? The old horny lady. She's horny the whole movie. The whole movie, yo.
Yeah.
She's over here slapping booty cheeks, calling people cute and sexy. She says, "Where's that sexy hot rod at?"
Yeah. She's, can't remember her name. But yeah, there's that. And then, like, I think what's great with it too is that the movie is like very much referencing stuff like that's peak 2000s, peak 90s, like, oh, Jay Leno's on a show, and then, like, I forgot how
Yeah.
they have just Arnold Schwarzenegger as a Hummer, or just
Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Governor.
yeah, and just like
That's
and that,
forever cemented. Pixar cemented that forever.
that whole like sequence, like there's a lot of like rapid fire comedy in this where it's like 6 jokes back to back to back, and then it's just like they keep building, and that every time that Arnold cameo, I don't think it's actually him, but or voice wise, and that just kills me every time because it's like peaking, and then just Lightning McQueen needs to be found. It's such a nonsensical phrase. Like, this god needs to be found. That's the governor. So, like, that would be something he probably would have commentated on, and
Yeah.
it's just. But
Well, I really want to make sure we touch on at some point how friggin' dope this cast was, because I was looking around at it and was just obviously you got Owen Wilson in there. I didn't know there was Bonnie Hunt as Sally. I had no clue.
that's her third, or this is her second time, but I think she's been in Pixar movies three times at this point. She was the Black Widow.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was the Black Widow in Bug's Life. She's Sally here, and then she's Dolly in Toy Story 3 and 4, possibly.
And then you got Cheech Marin, Larry the Cable Guy. You got Paul Newman, which I thought was a solid. Like he kills it, and I'm wonderful piece. Like there's always like little pieces that make movies, parts that are cast genuine to the genre, and I feel like he was a wonderful cast for that.
I liked. Sorry, I'm just jumping back to Paul Newman. He has so many like well performed lines.
Yeah.
Another line that I forgot that I need to start using in my vernacular somehow is the I'm gonna throw him in jail, and then I'm gonna let that jail rot, and then I'm gonna build another jail, put him in that, and let that jail rot. It's like I'm going back to a running theme of these. It's like a wrestler line. Just Paul Newman coming in with his salad dressing and Oscars, just like, oh God, let me tell you something. Put you in jail. That's what I'm gonna do to you. Yeah, Paul Newman being
between that, I also like his line when he's when lightning falls into the bush and he talks about was that the what do you say? Is that the butterfly?
Was that the float like a Volkswagen or sting like a Beamer?
Mm-hmm. That was solid.
Go fishing, Mater.
I love how OP Mater is in this as well.
Yeah.
Mater is more agile, more fast. He's just better than Lightning McQueen, and he's a rusted old tow truck. He really is the only. He's like, in my opinion, the most likable character in this movie by far.
Mm-hmm. What I think is funny with Mater is when he's doing the rear view mirror portion, he's going backwards and this and that, and then he just one point stops and just spins, and I'm like, how does this prove that he has rear view mirrors? And then he just continues, and like that sequence of like stacking the humors, it's like he's just going wild, and you're like, oh, now he's in the trees, haha, and then he's like 50 feet above the trees, inexplicably
jumping over a freaking moon and whatnot.
Yeah. His reverse gear is faster than his forward gear. He's launched into space.
I wish he was in. There's like Cars 4, whatever cars they're on now, should be all about Mater at this point. If it's not there already.
They made that mistake with Cars 2, and we'll go into that. But I get you. No, but I will say though, I will rescind my criticism with this little nugget is that the Cars tunes, Mater's Tall Tales, are the perfect level of like Mater zaniness. Like they've got a Tokyo Drift one, they've got like the one where they go to space. There's the one where he's a firefighter, and he's a daredevil. Yeah, those are great.
Yeah, some of them are online. I think all of them are on Disney Plus?
Hmm.
Question mark.
I'm pretty sure I've
Uh,
seen one of them.
yeah, those are real fun. Um, I'm trying to think of like other things that are just funny about it. It's just like um, I would say one thing that was what's surprising too is like I know Chick Hicks is a villain. He's the
Hmm.
villain of this, and I just think what's so funny with him is that like at the end he just goes insane and he's like, well, I'm just gonna run this guy off the road and just like it's not even like, oh, I'm gonna tap him and he'll hit the like I get it. I think like the
I
point
love
of
that
that
it's
is
Michael Keaton too. Like
yeah,
that, it's just it reads because in my head I can see Michael Keaton with
just
Batman eyes doing all that.
yeah, doing that thing where he doesn't talk with his what's he do? Yeah, he doesn't move his lips when he talks. Good way to do a Michael Keaton impression. And it just like, and it's like, I get that like him hitting the king at the end is like probably like he wanted to tap him and like just kind of spin him out, but then like it just goes terribly wrong. But it's like he just
Yep.
like doesn't care.
He
He's like,
just murks him.
yeah, he's like,
But
well,
that
all right, keeps
common
going.
theme in all Pixar movies is that they really threaten death over and over again for us.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That everyone almost dies or dies in these movies,
yeah,
and we hadn't
uh,
had any of that to this point. To this point, there'd been no real peril.
yeah.
The
It's
only
pretty, yeah, because even like with lightning like blowing out his tires, you're like, are his shoes untied? Is that the equivalent? I guess he's sparking. He's running.
yeah,
Like,
he can't move fast. I don't know. Nothing really felt like actually, what did feel that way was in the very beginning, all the cars that were in that crash. I guess
oh
that
yeah,
was the
you see
only time really.
tires.
Hmm.
And you're like, oh. What I think another thing that was funny too that I didn't realize, and it's just me like being silly and nitpicky for comedy, is that when they're bouncing, he's bouncing towards the finish line, and then they cross the finish line. I'm like, Lightning's tongue is half the length of his body.
Yeah, dude.
It's just like he should be in a heavy metal band. Like
Freak.
he's ding 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 ding, Lightning McQueen. Um, I'm trying to think of like,
Then it goes into the next one off I dig a lot is that you got I was gonna say Ari Gold, Jeremy Piven as his
hmm
agent, and this is in heyday Entourage time too.
yeah.
So like he's really just playing Ari, and it's hilarious.
hmm
I because I don't know if you watched Entourage, but I watched all of it, and it is hilarious to hear how he talks to him as though like he's just a number, because he really only has a couple clients he cares about.
hmm I got a what was it? I've been meaning. I was like, I think I wanted to watch that series, and I think by the time I was like, I want to watch it, it was like the finale. I was like, oh, and that
Mm.
was in the days where it was like, well, I either have to buy all 6 seasons on DVD for $60 each, or do I? Back in my day, you couldn't binge a show unless you committed financially to
You
it.
really had to though,
Yeah,
strictly to that show.
I think the only series that I have like the complete DVDs are like The Sopranos. And that was just because like my dad watched it and didn't take the DVDs. Um,
Sopranos is top 5 show of all time.
yeah, it's a crazy show.
Okay,
Um,
so let's get to it. So we got Lightning McQueen. He's race man, has a crazy great race, pushes it too far, and blows out his feet essentially.
yeah, his feet explode and
Don't overthink it. Don't
his
overthink it. Don't overthink it.
his feet
Okay,
spontaneously
so
combust and he ties 3 ways. And,
we're using his half of body length tongue. Everything's cool. These are the rules. These are the rules. They
this is what
established them
happens.
early. Okay, they established early. This is the way it works. Okay, which I'm honestly happy they do that, because otherwise the whole movie you'd be like, why, how, and because it's so bonkers to start, I guess it kind of makes the rest of the movie a little more digestible. And we get from there, he's gonna push it across country to go for the tiebreaker, and we learn immediately he's got no friends, and also by the way he treats the resty people, that he has no friends as well as he thinks he's better than.
Yeah.
So he's got an entitlement issue with nobody to help tell him he's wrong. And we get Mac Ratzenberger. Love it, love it. We get his character, and he falls asleep at the wheel, and this is where our hijinks ensue.
hmm Mack truck. There's some fun stuff with that whole, just the whole world that they built. I think it's fun that they pull all the brands. They've got Dynaco, they've got Lightyear tires, they've got the Lightyear blimp. There's just the fact that like the equivalent of like a bumper ointment. It's like Lightning McQueen he's Preparation H.
You thought that? Okay, I thought something a little different. I mean, to go along with the sexy themes, I thought that it was more of like a herpes thing or something like that.
No.
It felt like that because in the way, I don't know, the way I was dying. I was like, they were going for some adult themes in this, whether it's Preparation H or that, whatever they were going for.
Yeah,
just saying.
I just like
didn't feel like athletes, but
yeah, I liked the part where in that we've all done that presentation where we've talked to our coworkers and they're like, oh, like you should say something. You're like, oh yeah, if you wanna be like me, use Rusty's Ka-chow. And I'm like, that's my favorite delivery of ka-chow in the whole movie because it's just like
it doesn't even gleam.
It's just like Owen Wilson at his most laid back.
Oh my god!
And then like, I like that they introduce that a lot of people interact with the king as Mr. the King. Such a like subtle little line where it's like, oh yeah, like.
It's this weird extra third-person gear they have to use. Rims equal feet, tire equals shoes. Okay. So someone blew up. Someone's
so his shoes exploded.
Shoes blew up. Yeah.
I feel like
which happens quite often. You know, it's normal.
I feel like it'd be like
Zion Williamson actually blew out his shoes in game.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like that's happened, like a shoe, like, is just like torn apart, or like, that's crazy though. The power. I got a question coming in on here, so I don't know. Let's see if it pops up. It pops up. Are you planning on putting eyes on Todd? We could. I know that like with the truck, you can probably like people have bought like the sunshades with the eyes on it. Every time that I've seen the ones that are colored, they don't really fit that well in the sunshade area. But two, with the truck, one thing I was talking about it with someone the other day about like what truck it's based on, because if we want to get into like really, really minutia, like Howard Hughes level of unnecessary detail, our truck is most similar to the one from the first film. And I can go into why the later films aren't the same as the first films at another time. But I probably should. No. Like, I agree. Like, we probably should look into buying one of those yellow-eyed sunshades. Because I bought one of the McQueen ones, and it just didn't. It was one of those heavy cardboard ones that just didn't fit very well. But yeah, it's something I might do eventually. Not doing too many events now. Took it out for
It looked cool what you did.
Oh,
I was watching the anime edit this morning. I was cracking up.
Well, it was great because
you looped it good, man. You looped it really good.
I was like, what can I do? And I'm like, oh yeah, TikTok has gold powder effects. Let's do this. Let's do like a crazy like goofy. I feel like the actual axle hubs are the feet, since those aren't designed to be moved regularly. Yeah. Like that's the thing. It's like if we not overthink. Okay. If we really get into the details.
Look, I'm down to overthink this.
Yeah.
You think that I'm not down to understand that I overthink just about everything in my life. So I'm very much so excited to overthink this. Let's talk about it. The axle hubs. So now the rims would be what? Or the axle hubs would be more like your ankles, would they not? Since those are more stationary and your feet kind of move, and that would make the rims still, I would imagine, your feet.
So he's running barefoot. I feel like him at the end, blowing out his tires, his shoes have exploded, and he is running barefoot in a race where he shouldn't be running barefoot. You could win a race running barefoot, probably, and like
Usain Bolt would win the race barefoot.
I'm sure he could run backwards and beat me.
I feel like he's beating people backwards.
Yeah,
I feel like he's that kind of guy.
Put him in.
So is Lightning McQueen. Lightning McQueen's the kind of guy in the beginning that would totally excuse my language. That would totally put it in reverse. Although I guess he couldn't. Yeah, he can't grab it. Anyway.
Can they? Sorry, I'm just imagining. I had a bad joke about.
See what you did? You said overthink. Now I've gone and overthought.
I was thinking about if Usain Bolt did a potato sack race, and I'm like, that's the equalizer. That's how you defeat him. Like, I got you now.
You're
Oh
sitting
no,
over here
there we
thinking
go.
like, what is Usain Bolt's kryptonite?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what could it possibly be? Oh, maybe it's like a wet track. No, maybe take his shoes from. No.
Just give him a potato sack. Put him in a potato sack race. I bet you like he would have, but like
I know the real hindrance. I know how to do this.
Hmm.
You ready? 3-legged race with Danny DeVito as his partner.
No. He would. Usain Bolt's tall. He would just strap all of Danny DeVito to his lower leg and just carry. Oh, what are you doing? The mental image I had was Usain Bolt getting a very large potato sack because he's tall, which would mean the potato sack was wide, so he could kind of like hammer pants it. And I think he could probably like, actually I wonder. Well, probably I should look up the rules for potato sack racing. Anyway, back to cars' tires exploding being their feet that led to us going down this rabbit hole about Usain Bolt doing a potato sack race. So it's a 3-way tie.
How come no one's talking about the tongue, man? The tongue is the weird part. That's the part that's weird, man. It's really long.
It's not even the fact that the car has a mouth or has a tongue that we're like weirded out by. It's like that is a Gene Simmons tongue that Lightning McQueen
ridiculous.
has. Like
it's more than Gene Simmons. Gene Simmons' tongue only goes down to like past his chin. That's like if his tongue went to his belly button.
I mean, Gene Simmons is like I've been holding back all these years.
Someone's gonna send me a TikTok of somebody with a tongue that's that long. Now watch.
Oh god, we got another question coming in. This is good. What do we got? Which both of you would use Cars Project Santa Q? Oh, what cars would I use from the Cars world in real life? I'd go to a Dynaco station if that was an option. I don't have any cars that have. Well, I have a car that does have rust on its bumper, so I could, in theory, use Rusties. But who
would be our sponsor essentially?
Well, no. Like, what if there was any of? From my understanding, if there were, which products from the Cars world would we want to use on our cars? Because there's all these fun little ones in the background.
Okay. Yeah,
like I'd use Dynaco fuel. Like they have like I wouldn't need to use Rusties on one of my cars, but the other one,
give me a paint job.
Yeah, oof. I tell you, so like. One thing that's great. One thing that's great about cars and like you talk about the toys and stuff and how it's like the second most profitable like toy line.
I'm trying to tell you, man. Like they know what they're doing. Like I connect with this one the least, and it's one of their most successful movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the measuring stick, Marco. I'm the.
I mean, I understand. It's different. I just think what's so crazy with it is it's like okay, so let me look it up because I'm gonna check my facts, live fact checking.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Muppet News Flash today. We've got so what I think is crazy with the fact though is it's like. It's number 2, and the number 1, like movie licensed toy line is Star Wars. And at this point, Star Wars had like 30-year head start, and then Cars came. And then, I just think it's funny. And then like they're like, well, let's put faces on cars, and it's like, yep. And then like you go, but I tell you, here's the thing: is it's like,
hadn't been done.
Like I had like a decently extensive Hot Wheels collection when I was a kid, and I think about like, yeah, I would have had a lot of these if I was a kid, and even now I have a bunch. Like I like every time I go to Disneyland or like, well, back in the before time, when I would go to Disneyland and stuff, I would always peruse cars, and I'm like, oh, okay, there's another Sally. Oh, there's a Lightning McQueen, muddy Lightning McQueen, and then there's the extended tongue Lightning McQueen, and then there's the his feet have exploded Lightning McQueen. But there would always be one.
I like all the one-offs. I like all the where it's just like some random other character you came up with just for this little toy line, and it's so cool.
And there's like, or they'll have ones that are just like specific scenes where it's like muddy Lightning McQueen, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's when he was like doing this. But there's like certain looks that I really moments that I like that they have made toys out of, and it's like I love how Lightning looks when he gets Ramon's paint job and gets the white wall tires, where he's like Corvette McQueen.
That's such a sick look. He
Yeah.
looks so.
Because I think like my favorite look until I was reminded of that look. I used to in Cars 3 when he's the fabulous Lightning McQueen and he's all blue. And that was a pretty sick look. But like, I don't even know what the paint job is.
I just right now just realized I think that I blocked out Cars 2 from my memory.
Cars 2 is the spy one.
I think I watched it for sure, but I think I blocked it out. I remember like the bomb car and all that now, but like you were just saying Cars 3 stuff, and I just imagined that was the second Cars. Oh my gosh,
we're gonna. I'm
scared. I'm really scared to watch Cars 2 now.
We're gonna unlock your.
It was traumatic for me, Marco. I don't want to go back.
I can't make fun of you, man. I used to go to like the movies every week in high school, and there's some movies where I'm like, I paid money to see epic movie. I saw Snakes on a Plane twice within 24 hours. Like, what was I doing?
I was there.
Yeah, it's just like you remember.
And we were not tired. Me and you were not tired of any snakes on any plane. And that's the PG version, folks.
And then there was like, I remember. You remember when we saw Beowulf? Remember that movie?
Yeah. Well, I was like, okay, let's talk about that real quick. This is how
go
cool
for it.
Pixar is, okay?
Yeah.
That Beowulf comes out, and everyone's like, whoa, this is like the coolest CG movie ever.
It's all motion capture, and everything looks real.
But you look at it, and you compare it to what Pixar's doing right here. When did Beowulf come out? What year?
Beowulf came out in 2007. It was
2007. So in 2000, what is this? The 6th that this came out? A year before that, Cars has vastly surpassed anything Beowulf does at all.
It's just like I just remember when we were watching Beowulf, like they were just it.
What is he? It was like he says something. Oh, I
just remember that there's what's the I can't think of his name right now. Anthony Hopkins is in it. Ray Winestone is in it. And it's like Ray Winestone has a voice that sounds like he's coming out of Ray Winestone. He's kind of a heavier set dude. He's got kind of and then they like have like Beowulf is like a video game. It's like the directors went in and were like, okay, we're gonna build this like character and the character builder, and it's not gonna look anything like him. And we should watch that again one of these days if it's on like Netflix, because I refuse to pay for it.
Again.
I know there's money I won't get back.
Oh man.
But like with the toys and stuff, like I obviously had to get the Pizza Planet truck. My friends actually, by the time that we were doing the project, like they weren't selling Todd. This is the movie they gave the Pizza Planet truck its name, Todd, the Pizza Planet truck. And I had my friends at the Pixar Post, they had a friend who had an extensive collection of Cars toys. And just like one day I just got this little box and I opened it, and inside was like one of the Pizza Planet trucks, because like Cars 2 hadn't come out yet, or like they hadn't released the truck for that collection. But now like every couple months, like every 6 months, I think they do like another run, and it's like Todd the Pizza Planet truck Cars 3 version. Looks exactly the same as Cars 2. Like there might be like some slight differences in the mold or something, but I buy them every time, so I can't complain.
Do they eat pizza?
Does he?
What's on the pizza?
Yeah, is it oil? Is it washers?
It can't be oil, because that's Mater's spit. If it's oil, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it's his. So we'll get into that in the Cars too, because there's some stuff that comes up about oil. If cars can brush their teeth.
Dude, I blocked out Cars 2, man. That must have been real bad. I don't remember any of it.
We'll go over it. We will introduce you to the horrors of Cars 2. No, I'm sure, but you know what? Cars 2, I feel like, is one of those movies where it's like, you can tell the crew is having fun making it. Like, I can't deny that. Like, it's in like this, there's a special like gray area of films where it's like, I'm not going to fault them for having fun making this movie. I'm sure these story meetings were great. Like, but also too, it's like, it's a talking car movie. I shouldn't go in expecting like
Yeah, I
Lawrence
hear
of
what you're saying.
Arabia. Like that's me. It's like I know it's
That's how I felt with Godzilla. I was like, this
yeah.
plot was Godzilla vs. Kong. I was like, this plot is absolutely terrible, and I
But
am here for it
yeah,
because
and it's like here's the thing. At the end of the day, did Godzilla punch Kong? Did Kong punch Godzilla? Yeah, it happened.
it was great.
It
It was great. I was like, I'm not here to watch. The main characters are Godzilla and King Kong. I don't need
yeah,
much talking, guys.
yeah.
Go.
I didn't
Let's
I
do
didn't
it.
expect to be so emotionally invested in Kong's well-being. I was like, just let him be happy. He doesn't have a house. He's
Dude,
evicted.
I was
He's
telling my friend, I was like, but no, there's no spoilers with what I'm saying here. I think I'm still good. But by the end of that movie, I felt like I think I'm on Team Kong now.
yeah, I was firmly planted in Team Godzilla. Like not like, oh, Kong just like Godzilla's gonna destroy Kong or like that, but I just like, oh, I'd like to see Godzilla do what Godzilla was
Ever since Godzilla vs. Bambi, I've been on Godzilla's side.
That's such a
The
great
end.
such a great like moment. And it's like that's one of those modern film history moments that like can never be duplicated again. Like if someone were to do a film like that in a film festival, it would be derided for being derivative. And
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like that's a lightning in a bottle moment. It's so
Oh,
cool. And like
for
could you
sure.
imagine being to be like, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. Oh, okay. Yeah. And just like I think about like, when we
I'm
went
giggling, like imagining being in that right now. It's so
yeah,
good.
and it's just like because like we had moments like that when we would make our movies and we're sitting there going, I can't wait for them to see this gag, and like when it went off and
Bananas in a gorilla suit, bro. Where's the video? We need to find it. It was so good.
oh, I have that somewhere. Oh man, I have my hard drives. I gotta figure out my hard drives and stuff. I have like 8 hours of like middle school and high school home movies on mini DV tape, and I'm hoping that mini DV tape is pretty stable if left in a cool location because I'd be kind of worried about that. But yeah, it's like there's that. I keep finding stuff where I'm like, I didn't realize that I kept that. And then I've recorded over a lot of tapes. I think what's really funny is I should pull it out one of these days. I'll do a show and tell. Where like all my mini DV tapes are like the mini DV tapes of like they've got like that like gunmetal and like blue color, like millennium colored products. And then for some reason, I remember that they made colored mini DV tapes, and I walked into like a Target or something. I was like, I need to buy tapes. They're like $20, or I don't even remember. I think it was $30 for three. Like it was expensive.
Yeah.
And there was one time where I was like, I could buy the regular colored ones, or I could buy these pastel colored ones for like $10 off. So I have like a stack of pastel colored like mini DV tapes because that was the thing. Like you remember when they did like see-through like colored DVDs and colored CDs and colored.
I remember burning CDs left and right and having all kinds of colored ones.
And just like CD burns and stuff. We have another. Oh man, we have 3 questions. 3 questions.
Hit me.
What do we got? We got, which is the car that you would want to reproduce in real life?
Which car would I reproduce in real life?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You know that when in the beginning when Mac's asleep,
yeah.
And you got those Tokyo Drift looking cars.
Mm-hmm.
The one that like it starts from the pan down low and it shows the first wing and it goes like 5 wings up. That one.
I think that's Wingo. Let me see. Yeah, Wingo, where he has like 6 or 7 lines.
It's so cool. I want that guy.
Chevy, our next project, we just need to make it.
It's practical.
Yeah, it keeps it downward force and stuff. You know what we need to do? Okay, here's a plan, Sean.
Plan me out.
Red Bull soapbox race.
Okay. Or Flugtag.
Flugtag, dude. You could have the back part of the car fly.
We could just go off on one of the cars. Like, we're not even trying to fly, dog.
No. You could convert Wingo's back wing. His spoiler
Oh,
could be
yeah.
like a. His spoiler could be.
What if we just kite?
Yeah, exactly. It would be like a box kite off the back of it. You heard it here first, everyone.
Yo.
Oh man, I gotta.
If somebody really wants to see the Wingo Flugtag with me and Marco box kiting across the Long Beach Rainbow Harbor, because they do it in Long Beach, man.
Yeah.
It actually happens there. It's right down the street. You let us know. Start the GoFundMe, Kickstarter.
Hop on Venmo, Pizza Planet truck. It's got a yellow icon like the one you're probably seeing in this corner.
That would be crazy.
There's a lot of fun things. Like, I mean, a Pizza Planet soapbox racer would be pretty ridiculous. Just throwing pizza at people as you go by. Man, a car that I would want to.
The Pizza Planet soapbox sounds great, actually.
Yeah, that sounds. I mean, I got a friend who.
All we gotta do is, honestly, all you need for that is we just need to use the rocket and just use colors.
Yeah.
That's all we need.
I got a friend who we in Boy Scouts, like he would, he's a family of engineers, and it's just like, I remember like his Pinewood Derby car was just like engineered to the max and was just like, oh, it's winning by like seconds in a race that only lasts like 2 seconds. And we made we had this push cart thing. I don't remember what it was called, but it was similar to like a soapbox racer, and you would push it it was like pushing a wheelbarrow kind of thing. And we had it where this is, I love it that we're just going off the rails, and this is why we're doing this, everyone. This is they made it so like it was like a 2x4 were the axles, and you had these little like foot pads, you could kick it, and it was a string kind of thing. It was like the soapbox kind of thing. But I remember we figured out the wheels, that I think they were wheelbarrow wheels or cart wheels or something that you could buy from Home Depot, and they were so reinforced, and all the joints and stuff, when they put it together, like this thing was bulletproof. And I just remember my friend and I realized that we had to do like a kind of a slalom, and then you had to do a U-turn, or just like a loop back. And we realized that if he locked it all the way over and I turned sideways instead of trying to propel it forward, and I just pushed the back around, we could effectively drift it on like the point. Yeah. And I remember they told us like, you can't do that anymore, because we were like winning so much. Because my friend was like, my friend was a little bit smaller than me, and he could steer, and I was like, I'm just gonna run as fast as I can.
That's
we were
tough.
Tokyo drifting in like Boy Scouts.
Bam, 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 bam.
If I were to rebuild a car that wasn't the Pizza Planet truck from the Cars universe, oh man, I rebuild. See, what's tough is it's like I want a Fiat 500, even though like I am not built to fit in a car that small.
You want Luigi?
Yeah, like I sat in one of those little Cinquecentas, and they're so small. They are
That is
dangerous.
So you, Marco. That is hilarious. All the cars in the Cars universe, you're like, I'll take Luigi.
The little Italian yellow one. But I'd roll up to your house.
I only find that Ferrari.
Yeah, it's like, roll up to your house, get out of the car. You're making fun of the way I look in my automobile.
The Simpsons predicted it. The Simpsons predicted it.
I'm gonna jump off of this. Yeah, it's just like there's some fun. Oh, man, see, it's like I don't want to answer that question now, because I'm gonna say it, and then there's gonna be one in like Cars 2 that I completely forgot. The Pope Mobile is pretty funny.
Oh,
I have I have the die cast of the Pope Mobile. That one was pretty good. Yeah, it's just, oh man, one question disappeared. Oh no, we have, what's going on here? Now we have 3 again. You want to just barrel through these? Barrel through some questions?
I can't see them. You're the only one that can see them.
Oh, gotcha. Well, that's it. That's a Cars 2 question. So I'm going to tune in on Cars 2. We'll talk about that later. What do we got? Ah, yeah, that's not a question. That's garble. Hey, Sean, I think we've made it. We've got like spam appearing in our questions. That's pretty crazy.
That's what's up. Well, honestly, I've had a hard time. See, there's these people, and they actually wanted me to let you know, Marco, that they've been trying to reach you about your vehicle's extended warranty.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I just have to send I didn't get the undercarriage insurance. I got to send that money to a Nigerian prince, right? It's like, I've heard, that's right. I heard they do the best undercarriage, like something about it. I don't know, like. It's
this week's podcast brought to you by Nigerian princes and your vehicle's extended warranty.
And your social security number, which is... let's see, we got... would you guys be excited about a Cars 4 with Cruise? Yeah, I think that would be pretty neat. Here's the thing. So when it comes to... This is my opinion. When it comes to sequels, like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there has to be like a full blown story, and if it isn't, I much prefer like the shorts. Like they did a bunch of like they did 5 or 6 shorts before Toy Story 4, and I was like, I am perfectly satisfied with these little nuggets of information about these characters that are
Mm-hmm.
continuing on past the last film.
Yep.
So like making a fourth film focusing particularly on Cruz Ramirez, who was introduced, I think would be interesting, but I don't. Man, I'm trying to think of good like franchises that went
I can
until
see him
4.
doing it just because there's, like we said, this franchise is so lucrative,
Hmm.
especially for the toys and everything, and so there's no reason to stop
Hmm.
for them. They're gonna make money, so I get it on that end of things.
If they're gonna go that way, let's just say like this is hypothetical, but let's say that they were to continue this on, and Lightning McQueen has gone back into more of the coaching role. I'm okay if they were to kind of do it more like another film series that some say went on too long, and I say went on just long enough. Rocky. if it, if Owen Wilson
Wow.
start, we'll
I
go
was
into
like, I
that
don't know.
later.
I was like, I don't know if it was just long enough.
I
That
think if
last
they had
Rocky
stopped
was
at,
pretty bad.
I think if they
Like
stopped at Creed,
the Creeds were good. It's
yeah,
the last Rocky that was
Rocky
bad.
Balboa, where it's like I'm Rocky and
Mm.
I'm retired and I'm retired and I'm not
Oh,
retired.
wait, that one was bad too. The last two Rockies were bad. I was talking about the one where he fights the little blonde kid in the street.
Oh yeah, 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 the Street Fighter. I forgot what that
That
guy's
one was
name.
bad.
That one cracked me up because there's so many funny things. Where it's like there's an Elton John song over the credits, and then the main theme. Oh no, I think it's the Measure of a Man, but like the theme of that movie was written by Alan Menken.
Mm.
Um, However, when it comes to the Rocky series, I would like to know what happened to Polly's robot.
That robot was friggin' sick, dude. And you're sitting there going like, it's the '80s and he's got a robot butler. I
Yeah, like
wonder what
that's
it does. And it literally just probably does this.
here you go, Polly. Here is your liquor and cigars. Oh, thanks. One thing that I think is great about the that soundtrack, um, I need to make a playlist of this. I have a playlist of if I ever were to be a wrestler or a public speaker, I would need walk-on music. And the Polly's Robot track from Rocky Four, I think. It's
I
like,
wish we could play it.
let me see if I can get it. Hold on, let me do this. Hi, everyone tuning in for this talk on cars. We are now queuing up a song from the fourth Rocky film in which a robot butler appears before Rocky. Would I be excited? Yeah, I think it would be interesting to see. It would be interesting to see Lightning more in that coaching capacity. I think that would be really funny. Let's see. I'm gonna take out my headphones, and we're gonna hear.
It's a 45-second track, so for those of you that are like, oh no, they're going to play music on a podcast, which is like the
Just play us
worst.
like
Oh
just play
no,
us like 30
an ad
seconds,
that
bro.
isn't ours. Okay, here we go. It's got that like that synth
This is what you want to
hammer.
play when you walk into rooms?
Can you imagine like that? That's like a
Whole song was 45 seconds. Like that. That
That
is
that's what you want to play as you walk into a room.
like. I think it'd be really funny to like. I
I'm
mean,
with Anadol. I think we should do it one more time, and this time have Marco do an interpretive dance.
I'll do it. We could. I mean, I was doing an interpretive. Sean, all of my dances are interpretive dances, much in the same way that all of my art is modern art. No matter what I do, I could sit there and be trying to do. I'm making a clay pot like Ghost, and like, it's a modern art masterpiece. I'm like, it's an ashtray, you guys. I'm trying to.
Oh, great. That's right.
It's an ashtray. I
Man.
promise. You know. You know what's funny is I never took shop classes in high school. And I
Mhm.
really wish I did. I really wish I did.
That's hilarious. Yes.
Yeah, that's all I got. Oh, we got one more question. Crash landed. What do y'all think when Pixar announced that there would be a new series of Cars upcoming on Disney Plus? I'm excited to see what Disney is doing with the characters for streaming. It'll be interesting. I'm excited for Monsters at Work. I'm excited for them to go back into that world.
Definitely.
Yeah. 5 minutes.
All right, let's get back to Cars.
Yeah, for sure.
Plot moves forward. We get to Radiator Springs. We got Lightning McQueen gets locked up. He tries to bail, ruins the town, accrues a $35,000 debt in legal fees, to which I don't think he ever pays off.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I'm just saying he seems like he's probably still in debt. It's kind of a trip that a race car driver like that doesn't have that kind of money, but I guess he probably has his reasons. I hope that Cars 4 goes into like what his like alcoholism and
that's
like,
a courtroom
gambling.
drama. That car right there said he never.
He has like 5 little McQueens from 5 different people he didn't know about or something.
Just Mater taking him to court. He owed me $35,000 in legal fees. Never paid him. In a big old house.
It's so good. And so he has to try to fix it and using, is it Bertha?
Bessie
or Betty. And he has to make it all the way through town. One thing I really want to note is that if you've driven through Route 66, this town is very, very recognizable. Not in the sense that I've never been to a town that had everything that this place has, but you go through when you're driving down Route 66, you see all kinds of cool neon and different stuff throughout the whole thing. And whether it be like the Bottle House or like just cool little diners with fun signs on them and stuff. It all felt very relatable.
Well, there's Seligman, I think, is one. It's like it's a hodgepodge of like several of them, and like
100%.
And like the Here It Is. So I gotta find the name of that it's a general store, that Here It Is sign. I want to go there because I guess Here It Is. Is that what it is? Here it is. No, it's called. Anyway, I'll find it later. I know that if you go to that specific general store and you tell them where you're from, they look it up on on the map, and then they find out how many miles you are away from home, and they'll make a custom sign that says, where you're from. And I'm like, that'd be cool. I would. It's like a hodgepodge of like a couple. It's like Seligman and a couple others, but it's like that's something. If we were to do a cross country trip in the truck, Route 66 would be, that'd be a fun little cruise.
Definitely. It's I pulled it up. It's Cadillac Ranch, outside of Amarillo, Texas. What? Yeah, I guess I don't know.
There's like several things, and it's just like let me check that.
Anyway, so he has to pull Bessie across, and it's kind of a trip. Bessie looks like it's something that should be pulled by a big rig. And you got this race car driver who's going to have to pull it, and it's an insurmountable task, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
And what's cool is this is kind of where you start seeing Mater's his shtick just is growing and growing at this point. You really maybe I should have connected him to Bessie first before I
let him go. He runs out of gas. I know there's some. What else too? It's just like it's such a colorful little town. There's so many like, and I think what's so crazy, like you've been to Cars Land, and it's just like the detail they got into it. It's just like, oh, I remember standing next to that, and like, one gag that I forgot about with the town when he's tied up to Bessie is when the minivans come in.
The 2 minivans, yeah.
I think the minivans are the butt of so many jokes in these movies, and they're done in a great way. There's one I wanted to mention to you that I thought was really great. When the minivan is passing Mac. Have you seen it where it goes, oh, minivan? And it's this minivan with a mattress on top going, it's like having trouble driving. I don't know why it made me laugh in that scene. But
I love the the bumper sticker slap at the end of that was so good. It's another little shtick.
That's a bumper sticker that I'm sure somebody's made. Nice butte.
Uh-huh.
What else?
Cut to now it goes down to the race. We get fine, you want to get out of here? Why don't we race for it? And it's cool because he's seen him hit that turn and he feels like he's gonna be able to keep up with him, but he didn't see the turn after it all, you know? Oh, I see you. You doing your Luigi?
It's a little Guido with his little Italian throw. Such a like
so good. All the Ferrari stuff. And I really dug the energy that the Hudson Hornet was holding, the Doc was holding. Just that whole, oh no, whatever will I do?
Oh no, I guess I forgot to start. Come on, Raider. Just like
yep.
It's just Paul Newman as Doc was a really good, like, you want to know more about him, but you understand like why he doesn't want more known about him, and like just that energy of like an old soul who has seen it all, and it's just like, yep, that came.
I guess this was his last film.
Probably, yeah. Let's see. Definitely one of the last ones. Let's see. Skimming.
It means that he really was like, you know, talking about old soul.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Old Hollywood for sure. Let's see. Yeah, he did Cars. He did Cars the video game, and then he did one of the shorts, and then he was a voice in a documentary about meerkats.
Which will be next week's episode. Just kidding.
Yeah, we're gonna tune in. We're gonna watch the meerkats documentary 2003. I found the thing. It's a Jack Rabbit Trading Post is the Here It Is thing. That's a fun spot. That's in Arizona. Winslow, Arizona.
So moving forward, now we got him all tripped out. He has no idea what he is anymore. He's got to come to Jesus moment of like, is he even really a race car driver? He couldn't beat some random guy in some random city. What's he gonna do in the Piston Cup? He starts opening up to Mater. Mater starts doing the whole, we get the tractor tipping scenes, which are ingenious, and like just, which also kind of sucks, like what they're saying about tractors, but you know, it is what it is.
The fantasy sequence about being chased by the giant tractor.
Oh yeah, the big bull looking one.
Yeah, just how it wins the race and it becomes a movie star, and he's like, no.
It's so good.
And how it like runs over Chick Hicks and turns him into like, just spits him out. You're like, oh, okay.
Chick Hicks' character is so hateable. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. You just want to punch him in the face. And I like that about it.
Just like there's just so many little like fun sequences, and just like that the tractor tipping, and then
cut to Sally takes out Lightning McQueen on their little date. Life is a highway.
A lot of good songs. A lot of good
you could say so. Maybe. I personally wasn't nearly as impressed with this as I am with nearly any other Pixar soundtrack. But once again, it's just at least identifiable with me. That's really all it comes down to.
I just think it's funny every time that like I always forget about the James Taylor song that's in it, and I'm just like listening to it going like, James Taylor has either always sounded young or has always sounded old, and he just
would go with the latter.
Yeah, and it's just like he always had this. He has a very consistent sound, and yeah, I always forget about it. And I was like, oh man, that's a good little emotional moment in the movie, you know. And we got to talk about the. Well, let's see. So you want to talk about the town makeover and the neon and that whole thing?
So because it's freaking gorgeous. It's another flex once again because lighting is huge in the CG world, and so they oh my god, they make it look so pretty, make it look absolutely gorgeous. And like, if you've ever been to like the Neon Museum over in Vegas, like neon really is that. Neon really is that pretty.
Crazy. Yeah, it's like even when they're like, we're gonna convert it to LEDs, like no, like,
Don't.
please use gas. Please use like
Yeah. And so what's so cool about that is it's a real flip. It flips the whole town on its head. He's just finished paving the road, which is, symbolism for he's finished his growth. He's now coming out of his cocoon. And he from there we get the town also put an effort. Watching him put an effort inspired them, so they all grow. They've all been trying their best to kind of pull in people, but they haven't been able to because the town looks like crap. Sorry. But I mean, it's kind of the way it is.
off goes the fire truck, off goes Red.
Yeah, exactly
Made
right.
you cry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. But gosh, you always get me off. They what's so pretty about it too, it's just the way they light up the street and everything, man. And it turns into this really cool like lowrider session where Flo and Ramon take off first, and he puts it low and slow. Like I love all the little lines they talk about right there, and it becomes real romantical. And just before that, you had the line where you got Mater in the street tell Lightning McQueen, this is the final piece of his growth, where he says, I knew I didn't make a mistake. And he goes, what are you talking about? He's like, when I chose. Chose what? You as my best friend. Heart melted. My heart melted for sure. And I was like, I know what that's like. My best friend, we like that. That's how and I'm over here saying names out loud and stuff, And it was cool because now you go to the next scene and he gets pulled away by, what is her name? It's going to kill me.
I can't, hold on, let me see.
Is it Lizzie?
I think it's Lizzie. Yeah, let's go with
Lizzie.
And I'll do
Pretty sure it's Lizzie.
Lizzie, yep.
Yeah. Lizzie takes Lightning and he wants to go back, and you just get this really cool scene where in true best friend fashion, Mater becomes the absolute best. Is it Sally? No, Sally's no. I'm not. I don't know. I'm sorry.
The crazy one.
Yeah.
The crazy Model T is Lizzie.
Exactly. Lizzie pulls off Lightning. He wants to be with Sally, and Mater pulls the ultimate wingman move, and pulls him back into Sally, away from Lizzie, and it's just cool because the whole town wants it to happen. And it's so wonderful when you get in those moments where like everybody else sees it, and wants. It's just, and then you're also in this moment too where we've got the complete makeover on Lightning McQueen. He's in Corvette mode. He looks, man, he's sharp, dude. He's show worthy, and we haven't seen him look like this since the opening scene.
Yeah,
and the difference between now and then is in the opening scene when he said, I got tickets for you at the Piston Cup for you and your friends, and he doesn't have anybody. Now there's a town full of people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was that moment. I didn't realize how like potent that moment was, where he's like, "Ah, yeah, you got too many friends. You call me later about it." It's like, at the beginning, I was like, "Oh,
yeah, he's got nobody." Yeah. They make it abundantly clear.
Yeah,
but Mac is his only friend.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about that neon scene?
I think it's great. I think it's a neat moment. Good song choice. And just like, I think, and like you said, it's like, it's Pixar flexing because it's like, oh, look, neon lights. Oh, neon lights reflected on cars.
Yeah.
And just the way that the neon looks is like, looks great.
And the background is still the background. Like we're still looking at this wonderful setting in the background. It's just nighttime. It's so like, personally, the desert is, of all like the geomes I've been around, it's probably one of my least favorites. But it's also incredibly beautiful. I do recognize its beauty. It's just that like, I like feel like I'd rather be like in the mountains or something like that, But they really make it such an enjoyable experience to be in what is otherwise like a barren desert. It's cool.
Yeah, it makes you want to like buy a small town and live with a bunch of friends out there or something.
That's what I was talking about with a couple other buddies after watching this. I was like, Modesto's pretty rad. Not Modesto, I'm sorry. Monterey Bay is rad. Carmel Valley is pretty rad. Like Central California would be pretty cool to live in, or like going inland and just being up to 15, driving 66.
Yeah. I just want to go on a road trip. I don't
Yeah,
know
this one
where.
doesn't make you feel any better about this. You've been talking about a road trip now for about 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And now we're watching a movie where like it just goes through what would be prime time road trip areas for us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty. This one almost hurts to watch.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm literally like, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just looking up funny places along Route 66 and just finding stuff. And I'm like, oh, that looks neat. That looks neat.
It is. It's a fun little thing to do.
Yeah. Area 51.
Yeah.
So the Lightning McQueen has found out. You find out that Doc Hudson was the one who called it in. And they are at...
Real shady. Real shady. He never really apologizes for that part, you know? He comes out and he helps them for sure.
Yeah, I would say like that. Yeah.
Marco, go on a road trip.
I should. I really should. I consider it, you know, like at the beginning, like to tangent off on this real quick before we get back to the
Well,
like,
Marco, we can't just tangent. We have a podcast.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I know, right? It's not our style. No, like a lot of people were like, when all this started going down, I remember some friends of mine were like, oh, we should just drive to Vegas and back just to see it deserted. And I was like, I don't know about that. And that was back when it was like, a lot of the stuff was like The Happening. We didn't, you know, it's in the air. It's in, but, you know, figuring out where a good spot to go, that would be a good staycation spot or something. But that's
I'll be going camping soon.
Nice.
Catch me in Sequoia National Park in a couple weeks here for sure.
Nice. I know. I gotta figure out. Why does the question say microwave?
I have no idea what that means, Anna.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means either. But I know we do have a question down in the bottom that I should jump to. I'll jump to in a second. Yeah, no, I'll figure it out. I'll get vaccinated and go someplace after waiting for it to go into effect. Well, because there's a lot of people that are just like, well, I guess I'm gonna go, and then off I go to Bora Bora, and I'm like, okay, but enough about that. So they're at the race, and the race starts. You find, you know, he doesn't have a crew chief. It's just Mac, which, you know, is okay. I think John Ratzenberger talking.
Someone put something obviously into his gasoline because he's hallucinating throughout the race.
Hey there, buddy. Oh yeah. And then
how come everybody else can see questions, but I can't see questions? I want to see questions.
I'm not sure. I don't think anyone had a question. I don't know. Let's see. Let's just pull up this question. Let's see if that clears it out. Let's see. That's not relevant.
I don't know. Question.
That's no question. The Piston Cup was renamed in 2010, 2011. I don't know. I don't know what that's called because as much as the Piston Cup was renamed in 2010, 2011. What was it called? And I don't know. I would look it up. I would, you know, but we can check into that. I'm sure it'll pop up in the questions as the show goes on.
I feel like you should Google that and hit us back in the bottom there and let us know the answer to that question. I don't even understand it all the way.
Yeah. I didn't know this was HQ trivia. I'm not getting any money if I answer this right.
That HQ trivia thing. All right, so he's back at the race. He's hallucinating. He's seeing all of his past come to nightmarish fruition right in front of his eyes. He's spinning out. Everything's going wrong. What could possibly help? His feet haven't blown up yet, though.
His
shoes.
His shoes haven't blown up yet. But then it's revealed that Doc Hudson is his pit crew chief. Pit crew chief. And you got Guido as his little pit stop. Pit stop.
And they were so, like, they were solid.
Yeah, that's a great gag. That's one of my favorite gags where it's just like, just like throwing them in the air. Pit stop. Like that. You know, and then so right there was where the movie stopped for me because my timing was off. But if there's any gags that you want to bring up at the end of it, I go ahead, lead on, Sean.
No, I mean after that, what's the coolest parts are that you finally get to see Mater in the helicopter. You're pumped on that. You know, he. I mean, you saw the end of the race, though, right?
I mean, I have a recollection of the end of the race, but I
Oh,
didn't.
okay. Well,
Yeah,
then
I didn't.
obviously the cool part is that we talked about it. Michael Keaton's character, what's his name?
Chick Hicks.
Chick Hicks. Michael Keaton's character, Chick Hicks, goes completely off the rails,
Hmm.
bumps homie into like oblivion,
Hmm.
and Lightning McQueen, being the better person that he is, who once jumped out too early to decide that he was the winner, even though he wasn't,
Hmm.
decided that he would rather be somebody who helps than somebody who wins. And like, come to Jesus moment, the crowd feels great. He gets the Dynaco sponsorship because he's a better person, but doesn't even want it. He ends up staying with Rusty's, and we get this
Hmm.
whole really cool, just like happily ever after. You really don't feel the need for a second movie, which is why I feel like I really blacked out the second movie in
Yeah,
my memory.
yeah.
It really ends on like, I mean, he's gonna be with his girl Sally. There's helicopter tow
Maybe,
or helicopter Mater.
maybe that's how much. I mean, geez, I mean, to put a
I remember
car
after
into.
this, wasn't it Planes after this? Didn't Planes come out before Cars 2?
I don't think so. I think it might have been right at the same time when they did the little. And I've heard Planes, and I heard the Planes franchise is surprisingly okay. I need to give it a chance. I haven't watched it, but
Are we gonna watch? Is Planes gonna be part of our?
it might. Maybe we could do like a rapid fire episode. We could watch all of the shorts and stuff. Planes came out in 2013, so it came out
Okay.
after Cars 2. Because I think Cars 2 was the one that introduced more planes besides a blimp. It actually had like a plane
No,
before.
we had the helicopter in this one, a couple helicopters in this one. We had the blimp, and we had the F-18s.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so like there were hints of a planes world in this.
This is
Um,
a planes world.
dun, 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 dun. Um, so maybe, sorry, jumping back, maybe the part of Lightning's $35,000 debt to Mater was paid off with that helicopter ride.
Yeah, but that's only a few $100 tops, dude. There's no way he owes Mater for a lot longer, unless he gave Mater, and he didn't win the race, so he doesn't get the winnings from that either.
Oh, good point, good point. Yeah. Some Lightning McQueen just, what's he doing? He's just doing hard labor.
Cars 5, he's doing like 6 movies just so he could pay back Mater.
Mater, I can't keep racing. It's doing a number to me. Yeah, you're sounding like Sylvester Stallone by the day. Yeah, they couldn't afford Owen Wilson, so they got me.
Wow. They put that sound bank.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah,
I
man.
was,
Oh.
oh no, I was just thinking about like you've seen the videos of like Owen Wilson's wow being put over like lightsaber. Wow, 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 wow.
Yeah,
Wow, wow,
that's
wow.
wonderful.
Yeah, so the movie ends happily ever after. No need for a spy-themed sequel, and yet we get one.
I can't believe. Yeah, dude, I can't believe. Wow.
We got a couple movies. We got. Let's see.
What's the next movie after this? What are we going into?
Ooh, I should look that up. Hold on, typing. On my really loud keyboard. We have a next week's Ratatouille, Sean. So this is gonna be fun.
Legendary week, y'all. Legendary week. Should we bring in? I feel like we should bring in somebody else next week. We gotta talk to. We gotta figure out.
Yeah, I
who
can,
should be.
call someone in. Yeah,
But I feel like we should, because especially since it's gonna be my first time watching it. You know what I mean? Like it'd be good to hear
I think
someone else who else has watched it.
I think Christiana said she wanted to talk about Ratatouille. That was one of the ones she wanted to crash land in on. So I
Right.
think scheduling wise, we might have to shift it from Tuesday, but that's okay. Well,
Okay, yeah.
we'll figure it out later. We'll get people involved. But yeah. So
Ratatouille's the next one. Wow,
yeah,
I'm pumped on that.
Sean, we've got like the next 4. We literally have Ratatouille, Wall-E, Up, and Toy Story 3. Like we're just watching like the World Series right here.
Yo,
Like-
it goes from hungry to cry to cry to cry.
Yeah.
How much do you want to? It's just hungry, tears, tears, tears. I'm so excited.
And like
Wally's so good.
Yeah.
Wally's so good. I'm so excited. You said we got Ratatouille, Wally, Toy Story 3, and what else?
And then, no, Ratatouille, Wally, Up, Toy Story
Up.
3. Yeah.
This is gonna be so good.
It's going to be a good time.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
What about Brave? Oh, what about Brave? Where's that at?
Well, it's Toy Story 3, Cars 2, then Brave. So we've got a fair, we got 23 movies to get through. 23 weeks. 23 weeks, guys. You're going to be dealing with us for too many months. I'm just glad people are still tuning in. So, final thoughts, final tangents we can go on. If anyone wants to dive into our questions, we can. Let me check. What do I have?
I'm trying to think of what my final thoughts on. I don't have anything. I don't have too much more positive stuff to say about this, only because it wasn't my. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I love the palettes, the texture they choose for all kinds of stuff. They're getting better and better.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain little pieces of it, like the cones thing, in our area, really made me feel like I was watching Toy Story 2 again. I don't know if that was on purpose or not.
Mm-hmm.
There's just like. You can just tell they take their time on this stuff, man. It's
when
I was watching the beginning and I'm watching the opening race scene.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just staring every time they go to the big arenas for the races. I'm just staring at the crowds, trying to see like how many cars did they develop? Yeah, and I'm like, and I'm sitting there talking to somebody about it. And I'm like, was it like 10 or 20, or like, you know what? No, I bet you they did thousands.
Yeah.
I bet you they animated thousands and thousands of them before they started randomizing them, because that's the kind of meticulous place like that you're at when you're at Pixar.
Mm-hmm. We can talk about the Pizza Planet truck cameos real quick if you'd like. We've got, so it actually appears twice, might be more, but 2 that I can find. So there's at the end at the stadium as they roll up, you see him like talking to another truck, and then. The one I didn't know about until like a couple of years ago was when they're doing the Life is a Highway sequence. There's cars going by on the far extreme right. Like you're focused on Mac in the middle of it. And on the far right, there's a Dynaco station way off in the distance. And then the truck's just kind of sitting there real tiny like, so that's fun. We do have a question that popped in. Let's see. Besides planes, what vehicles would you make a spin-off of?
Boats is a solid one, yeah.
Boats is pretty good. Submarines.
Boats and hoes.
Spaceships. I think there was going to be a plane sequel that took place in space, and then it got canned, which kind of
spaceships would be sweet.
Space would be fun. Submarines, bicycles.
What might be cool is like a dirt one, like a sand dune one kind of a thing, where it's just like all Mad Maxy.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
a Mad Max theme one. That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty good. Go-karts would be pretty fun.
Yeah. What else? I feel like there's more.
I'm trying to think of like fun, like Vespas, another good one.
I feel like construction would be sweet too.
I'm trying to think of the train. Oh, there's trains. Well, there's planes. Automobiles.
I
think there'd have to be trains. I think we'd have to do planes, trains, and automobiles as a sequel.
Planes, trains, and automobiles. Brought to you by Pixar.
Ding.
It's the exact same movie.
It's like a car and a train sitting.
But it's all cars and trains.
Cars and trains inside of cars and trains, talking about cars and trains. And,
that's too much, man. This feels like a Larry David movie.
Oh man. Yeah. I need to figure out a good way to end these. I like how we just kind of like collectively sigh and like everyone's joining in.
Well,
it's like when you're on.
You feel that, boys?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. It's like the vocal cues, at least for Americans. It's just like okay, yeah, I'm talking like this. We're kind of coming to the end of it.
That's I got.
But so we're on a podcast now. We have.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah, we're taking the audio from this and we are uploading it onto Anchor, which is cool. We're able to get sponsors and one of the sponsored messages, so it actually pairs you up with sponsored things, and the one we recorded a few for the Anchor app, and as of at the beginning of this, we made 8 cents. So we're doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing all right. Been up for a day.
I think the exit will be much more. It's much easier to make it nice and neat on the podcast form as opposed to this live form. It's hard to add an exit song onto here.
Yeah.
But easy to add a extra little tagline on the end of it on Anchor. Which is one more thing to talk about with Anchor is that it's a really, really utilizable source to edit your podcast, whether it's on your mobile device or your laptop or any other kind of device. Excuse me.
And like, what's really neat with it too is like this isn't an ad. Sean actually recorded an ad that we'll put at the I don't know.
It'll be on Spotify. So basically, what we're trying to get to, y'all, is that if you are watching this and you feel like, man, I wish I could figure out what they were saying for the rest of this, or I tuned in late, or I can only check out a little bit of it. What's wonderful is that we're now on Spotify, Apple Music, just about any of your digestible podcast sources, and that's all through the Anchor app. Anchor distributes it all for you. All you have to do is basically utilize their ad space, and they pay you for it. And so, thank you. We've now made less than 10 cents, but guys,
hey, it's 10 cents.
10 cents more than we had.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
So in addition to what I think is kind of fun with it is like we have the Pizza Planet Truck podcast, a very original name. But what I think is really cool is since it's a podcast, we can do like other podcasts have done where it's like we have Sean and Marco in the morning. That is one thing, and we're not just going to solely stick to that. Like there's chances to do other side shows. But for now, we're doing Sean and Marco in the morning. So the only one that is lost is Finding Nemo. I recorded like a silly like 20-second thing about that because the audio was lost. Thank you, Instagram. But we should be good.
That was a good one too.
Yeah, it was. But it's okay. It's lost forever to time.
We can just reshoot it. We'll just pretend like we never did
it. So, Sean, we traveled back in time, and
that'd be kind of fun to do.
Yeah,
we should do a traveling back in time recap episode of that / your sticker episode.
We could do that. We could do a real quick Finding Nemo. We can write notes. Yeah, I like that idea. We can write down the scenes that we like, and then we can do it'll be a secret episode.
I love it.
Cool.
I love it.
I think I'm set to end it here.
Me too. Once again, everybody, go ahead and check out The Chosen One, TheChosenWan.com for all your apparel needs. They got all kinds of really cool, dope pop culture stuff. Check us out. My man, check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, through the Anchor app. If you haven't checked them out yet on Anchor.fm, download the app. Besides that, Marco, it's been a pleasure, dude.
Thank you, sir. Stay tuned for more, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Peace and love, everybody.